Welcome back to the reaction show on the Football Terrace. A couple of important subjects to touch on this afternoon. Manchester United, the sack race with Ten Hag, what's happening, an interesting update from Henry Winter, what's being said around the situation there that we're going to delve into. But I wanted to spend some time talking about Bukayo Saka, one of the most consistent players of the last 4 to 5 years, both in the Premier League, started to do well in Europe, and has also delivered on a regular basis at a young age for England. But there's such an interesting narrative that is being pushed about him at the moment. And I want to play this clip for you first. And then we're going to go into some mad takes that I saw this weekend after another very good Bukayo Saka performance. Take a little listen.
Look, I've got something to tell both of you. I feel like English pundits need to stop glazing English players, especially Saka. Saka is the most average winger ever. He's
the most average winger ever. This is from a guy called Rose, who's a Chelsea fan.
He's not that deep. Look at what Yamal is doing, and look at his age. Do you know what I mean?
Yamal's amazing, but Yamal being amazing doesn't make Saka average.
Mbappe won the World Cup with France at age 19.
I mean, look, Mbappe, again, I don't think it's a weird call to say that Yamal is better for his age or even better now than Saka. It's not a weird call to say Mbappe's a better player. But those two things don't mean that Saka is average as a football player. Or unless I'm missing that.
He lost us the Euros.
Getting back a few years now, isn't he?
Sorry, everyone needs to stop glazing Saka. Stop glazing.
I mean, does he just mean the one that's just happened? I wouldn't say Saka was the reason we didn't win that. I'd go more with Southgate, but okay.
Bellingham, stop glazing these players, bro.
What do you mean?
I mean, Bellingham just had a season that he was brilliant in, where he won the La Liga and the Champions League.
Bellingham's won the Champions League last season and La Liga.
You what?
Bellingham.
You what? You what? He said you what?
Won the Champions League and La Liga.
Oh,
and got player of the season. Like, what do you mean?
How many goals did he score? Look how many goals Kane scored in the Bundesliga and he still didn't win the Bundesliga.
But do you know what's really funny about it, though? He's obviously, Yamal and Mbappe, they're doing it at international level. But he's kind of now putting down La Liga, which is now where Mbappe's playing. By the way, Mbappe's club career has all been done at a much lower level of a league. And Yamal's in La Liga.
Right.
He didn't even score that many goals. And he was playing in that.
He did score a lot of goals. What do you mean he didn't score a lot of goals?
Position because they never had a striker like that.
So
he played out of position as a striker, scored lots of goals, but that doesn't mean he's a talented player. My word.
Are we saying that we need to stop saying English players are
good? All
good?
I'm saying is, for all Arsenal fans that watch that game against Atlanta, Saka is meaty. He's not that deep.
Do you know what I'm hearing in this? This is someone who probably has friends that are Arsenal fans, is on Twitter, and just can't handle the fact that an Arsenal player is getting a lot of praise at the moment because he deserves it.
He's not that deep. Saka's been found out.
He's been found out.
Saka's been found out.
What do you mean, Rose? Look, you're a Chelsea fan, Rose, right?
Yeah, 100 up the Chelsea, man.
Yeah, up the Chelsea, but you got a bit of a beef here, Rose. Where's the beef come from?
No, because beef comes from all my friends.
See? He can't handle it because his friends... I don't understand people that create agendas because of what other people say. I'm not going to like Saka because my friends say he's good. That's weird, Rose. But he isn't the only one. This weekend, we saw Saka have another very, very, very good game. He was dangerous all match. Loads of entries into the box, taking on his man, creating chances. And what I've seen from people on social media since, in my opinion, has to be the biggest demonstration of a mixture, really, of hatred, anger, fear, to a point where, honestly, I feel like it borderlines along health issues. I really do. These are some of the things I saw this weekend. Okay, read this. Saka does nothing in games. No real tech, barely dribbles, but the English media still gassing him up like he is top class. What a joke. Man's shocking. Has stinkers, but no one calls him out because he stat pads with GA. doesn't stat pad with GA. He's got a good record against some of the bigger teams as well. But it's not stat padding to score and create goals, per se. I wouldn't put Saka into that category. Saka just spams corners all game and brings nothing else to the table. Man's mad overrated. Well, I also saw this one, which is the same theme, really. Saka spams crosses from corners and does nothing else throughout the whole game. He is so overrated. I'm not quite understanding this and where it's coming from. I saw a lot of people, there's more tweets like it. I only put out a few, fuming and angry. What did he do? That cross for Martinelli's goal was out of this world. The fact that he's good at crosses from corners, again, that is an attribute that should not be. I don't understand why it's suddenly being dismissed. And when you go down, I went and looked on who scored today. So forget what my eyes see versus your eyes, because we may never agree. Go and look at the objective facts. One of the best, good dribble take-ons in the top 10 in the Premier League as an example. That is there. One of the highest amount of key passes in the Premier League and chance creation. And in fact, when you actually look at some of the breakdown statistically, the most assists, the most chances created, second most chances created from open play, which is key. Because even if you remove his fantastic corners, he's still the second best chance creator in the Prem. He's created the most amount of big chances, and he has 3.16 expected assists. And I am going to say this now about Bukayo Saka and any other player. I have never seen, if you could list me more than 5, can you show me 5 players through the history of the Premier League who have, you got to go by age here as well. You can't pick somebody from 26 to 32. Same age as Saka since his debut till now. That in that time period has been as average as Saka, as overrated as Saka, as poor as Saka, but still generated the output that he has. I'm not going to sit here and say that he doesn't need to add some of this, for legacy-wise, he's got to do it in some big semi-finals, in some finals. He's got to score goals and be this creative in the title run-ins and win trophies if he wants to sit on the table with the legends of this league, there's no doubt. But this idea that he's overrated, and people now playing down creativity, they're playing down his dribbling, they're playing down his passing, they're playing down his crossing, they're playing down his output and his delivery, saying that it's just average, and GA is masking it. I don't know who these players are who are average, who also got this level of GA for that to be a thing. I've never seen a player with this amount of goals and assists and creativity this consistently who was average. Who are these players? Please educate me now, because I genuinely am confused. Now, moving on to Man United, let's take a little listen here around what's being said about the potential sacking of Ten Hag. Why is it not playing? I'm on the wrong one, that's why. Let's click on this here. Here we go. There we go.
All the sort of the words from the hierarchy is that they obviously want him to do well. But if you got someone like Van Nistelrooy, he would be a good caretaker, obviously.
Do you know what's really funny about the narrative? Is the Man United owners, there's a story that's going around that Man United's owners don't really want to sack him. They wanted to give him a year. Yeah, of course they did. They wanted him to be successful. Every Man United fan wanted him to be successful, whether you agreed with him staying or not. What they haven't said is that they're not going to sack him. It's very simple to follow.
He knows the club, he's respected, but he's making the point that when he was at PSV Eindhoven, he had a number 2, Fred Rutten, and if a number 2 shouldn't be agitating for the role. So I think that Van Nistelrooy is being incredibly respectful to Ten Hag in these pieces.
Of course he is, and that's because Van Nistelrooy is a respectable guy in a footballing sense, and I've never really seen or read any stories personally that suggest that he isn't. Of course he's going to be a candidate, because if there is a permanent long-term manager who just isn't available right now, we have to look at an option of an interim, and Ruud van Nistelrooy's name is there. But all of this stems from the conspiracy theory in the summer that he was only coming in as an assistant manager to replace Ten Hag if he failed. And thus far, according to Ruud, according to Ten Hag, according to the club, no credible journalist has ever said this. It is literally fan theory. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but that's all this is stemming from.
I think he'd be a good manager for Man United.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
I think
would
I
be
asked
a
you this
good...
way. Was he at Burnley?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing about Manchester United is you can get rid of the manager, but you have to address the culture. And the culture is directionless. Obviously, with Ineos coming in, they're trying, pursuit of excellence, Dan Ashworth, people like that coming in long term, that they will be fine.
Well, that's just it. I like what Henry Winter has said there, because the one thing that's frustrated me about this whole process, barring the games, barring how poor we've looked, is Man United fans for about 11 years. I would say the vast majority online that I've had debates with around sacking managers, keeping managers in that time period, have never really focused on the major problem, which was our ownership, our culture, and the direction we were moving in. We're finally addressing that situation, but they still don't understand and haven't come to terms with the fact that Ten Hag or not, Van Nistelrooy or not, Pep coming in as the replacement or not, that's hypothetical, there are still going to be many, many peaks and troughs. It's going to take years to fix the culture, to fix the squad, and to make us better. Now, Ten Hag should still be performing to a higher standard with this group of players. That I do not disagree with. But I would be shocked if Van Nistelrooy comes in, Tuchel comes in, Pep comes in, Zidane comes in, we get a time machine and bring Fergie back from 1984, 1985, and we suddenly start winning at the same rate that Arsenal are right now, the same rate that City are right now, that we become within 2 years contenders for the Premier League, contenders to win the Champions League on a regular basis, not just a peak of a year. It's going to take years to fix. Man United fans have been ignoring this talking point for 11 years. I thought when Ineos came in, I thought when we hired the likes of Dan Ashworth and co, they would understand it finally and grasp it, and they don't seem to. There is still this belief that get a better coach and we'll be an exponentially better and more consistent team, medium to long term. But these fans are setting themselves up to be angry again because there's still going to be ups and downs. There are still problems with a lot of these players that cannot be addressed in the short term. It's going to take 2 to 3 summers to get the squad to a point where we say, bang, I like that. Technical ability, availability, the right mentality as well. People aren't wrong in their opinions on Ten Hag, but I feel that we're overstating again the importance of the head coach in terms of why we are where we are as a football club. But look, I want to get everybody's opinion on this. Do you think Ineos are going to stick with the manager longer? Do you think he's going to go in the next couple of days? Who should come in? Have Ineos done a bad job? Have you already turned your back on them? Have they lost your respect? I'd love to ascertain, understand, and for you to garnish this content with your views and opinions below. As ever, do us a big, big favour and smash the like button. Please make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. There you go, like, subscribe, click the bell notifications, and we will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.